seems so loud. I wish that we could lose this crowd. Maybe it's better this way. We'd hurt each other with the things we want to say. We could have been so good together.
In February, Grant's bold offensive against Fort Henry and Fort Donelson gave the North its first major victories of the war, forcing the unconditional surrender of an entire Confederate army. The fall of the two forts and capture of nearly 16,000 prisoners of war enables Union forces to seize control of the lower Tennessee River, a strategic pathway to invade the Confederate heartland. After this stunning defeat, Confederate forces in the West abandoned Kentucky and Middle Tennessee, retiring south into West Tennessee, northern Alabama, and Mississippi. To transport Grant's forces, the Federals lease a fleet of steamboats. Throughout March 1862, over 12 dozen vessels steamed southward with men, munitions, food, tents, and supplies. Everything Grant needs to.
The Civil War Battle of Shiloh took place April 6th and 7th, 1862, in Hardin County, Tennessee, and resulted in a Union victory over Confederate forces. Nearly 110,000 troops took part in the fighting, which produced almost 24,000 casualties, making it the bloodiest battle to that point in U.S. history. American History TV visited Shiloh National Military Park, where Stacy Allen, the park's chief ranger, gave us a tour of the battlefield. In this portion, he talked about the fighting in a sector of the battlefield known as the Hornet's Nest.
We've moved to the center of the Union line, astride the Eastern Corinth Road, into a position that's iconic with Shiloh, known forever after the battle as the Hornet's Nest. They mark the center of the brigades participating in the assaults, where the Confederates are attempting to attack the Federals here, and they're doing so in piecemeal fashion, primarily lone brigades making these assaults in succession in some instances over the course of the midday and through the afternoon. They were dead center, pretty much dead center on the battlefield. And the Confederates attack through what they describe as a dense underbrush, a heavy thicketed zone. They called it an impenetrable thicket of young growth, which is different from the normal vegetation on the battlefield, which was old growth forest. The Confederates are attacking through this thicket. People say, well, why are they attacking through the thicket? Because it provided cover. It provided some semblance of protection as they tried to maneuver and get into a position to confront the Federals holding the line here. Besides that, if they moved any further to the north, they'd pass through a wide open field, which would bring their line under enfiladed fire from Federals. And to the south, there's another open field. And the thicket provided cover. It provided some semblance of protection. It is also apparent that these Confederate troops in the thicket rarely ever saw their opponent. The thicket was that dense. They saw the flashes of the muzzle from both the musketry and the artillery. They saw the smoke, but they rarely saw physical form of an enemy force.
1 o'clock. Alright, so the show starts at 1, let's start shooting. Did you park for sure, man? Which one would you rather see?
Kan du stänga?
sandali sa aking piling. Kahit buksan pa ang dibdib ko, matatagpo ay larawan mo. Ikaw ang laging hanap-hanap sa gawit araw. Ikaw ang nais kong sabihin ay natatanay. Ikaw ang
Goodness.